Hey everyone, so the Model Y L has officially started deliveries in China as of September 2nd, but as of now, Tesla stores still don't have test drive cars. It wasn't until just recently that the first test drive car showed up in my city. The car is actually going to be moving between different locations, staying at each store for just half a day before moving on. So my test drive time and route were super limited, plus it was raining, which really impacted the NVH performance. So I decided to skip the ride along and go straight to the test drive. Before we get started, I want to address a point from my last static review video where there was some controversy about the ground clearance. Some people left comments saying the official specs for the Model Y L state it has a higher ground clearance than the regular Model Y, and they questioned my objectivity. So today at the store, I compared the two cars again, and sure enough, when I tried to slide my iPhone 15 Pro Max under the Model Y L, it got stuck and couldn't go all the way underneath. But with the regular Model Y, there was plenty of space and the phone could slide right under. So to set the record straight, the Model Y L's ground clearance is indeed lower than the 5-seat Model Y. Alright, let's get into the drive. First up, the suspension. The Model Y L comes with CDC dampers, and honestly, the difference in tuning is massive. Right outside the Tesla store, there are a couple of speed bumps, and when I rolled over them, I could hardly believe I was in a Tesla. That sharp, hard thunk you normally get, gone. Instead, it's replaced by a much deeper, softer sound. And you can tell how comfort-oriented this thing is just from the suspension settings. There are only two modes, one called Balanced and the other called Rear Passenger Comfort. That's it, no sport mode. Balanced is basically as sporty as this suspension gets. So over potholes or manhole covers, the car just glides without any harsh impact. I'd say the comfort is mid to upper tier compared to most Chinese EVs. And honestly, if you're comparing it to other EVs that only use coil springs, this is top tier. I even felt it might be a little softer than my Li Auto L9, even though that one's equipped with both air springs and CDC dampers. That said, when you pick up the pace and hit some rougher patches, there's still a bit of extra rebound afterward. That might be Tesla's higher tire pressure settings at play. If you drop it down to around 2.5 bar, I think this car could actually feel even more comfortable. Also, the throttle tuning is definitely comfort focused. At first, the sales rep had it set to comfort mode, and after just a few seconds, I couldn't take it. The acceleration was so slow. Honestly, it felt like driving a gas car. So I switched it to sport mode, and the improvement was massive. Now, despite having a 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds, the throttle tuning has completely ditched that snappy instant response we're used to with Tesla. It's more in line with what you'd find in many other Chinese EVs with sport modes. It's definitely not as sharp as cars like the Avatar 11 or Zeekr, which get crazy fast throttle response and 0 to 60 times in the 3-second range. In the first half of the throttle travel, you can definitely feel some delay. If you want that proper pushback feel, you really have to bury the pedal. This is just not the Tesla we're used to. Now, let's talk about something that honestly really disappointed me. The one-pedal driving mode. Can you believe it? Someone actually complaining about Tesla's one-pedal mode. But hear me out. The Model Y L's one-pedal mode has basically been tuned down to the same level as a lot of Chinese EVs. For example, I accelerated to 84 kilometers per hour, then completely lifted off the throttle, and the car only slowed down very slightly. It took about 7 seconds to go from 84 to 34 kilometers per hour. Once you're over 60 kilometers per hour in moderately busy city traffic, you can forget about relying on just the throttle to slow down. You'll definitely need to use the brake pedal too. I mentioned in my previous static review of the Model Y L that the fully sealed wheel covers are an issue on long downhill stretches. Without the max regenerative braking mode, it could lead to brake overheating. A lot of people commented saying I didn't understand Tesla. Well, I do know that Tesla now uses brake-by-wire, so even if you hit the brake pedal, the computer can automatically switch between regenerative braking and physical braking. What I don't know is how that's balanced on this particular Model Y L. Given that the sealed wheel covers seriously affect brake caliper cooling, I'd advise caution. Even with the maximum regen during long downhill drives, you better keep a close eye on the brakes. Another thing I wasn't too happy about is the stock tires. the Continental EcoContact series. These are low rolling resistance tires, so they're great for comfort and noise reduction, but in the rain, the grip just isn't excellent. During my test drive, when I hit the brakes hard at around 110 kilometers per hour, the tires noticeably lost traction. You can see here when I slammed the brakes, the car actually swayed. And no, I wasn't shaking my head, the car itself was swaying. Even the sales rep next to me noticed it and thought it was me turning the wheel. On top of that, during hard acceleration, the rear wheel slipped as well, even though the rear tires are 275 by 45 R19, which are 2 centimeters wider than the front ones. So yeah, if you plan on driving aggressively, especially in wet conditions, you might want to think twice about pushing this car to its limits. If you're into spirited driving, I highly recommend swapping these out for a set of Michelin Pilot Sport EVs or Pirelli P0 Elect tires. Now, let's talk about what I liked. The steering and lane changes. The steering wheel has just the right amount of weight with very little play, and the precision is spot on. The lane changes are quick and agile, which honestly you wouldn't expect from a 4.9 meter long SUV. Continuous lane changes and overtakes give me so much confidence. All it takes is a small turn of the wheel and the car weaves through traffic like a fish slipping through water. No hesitation, no heavy feeling. In terms of steering, this car is still very much a driver's car. It makes you want to drive, makes you enjoy the experience, and it's not some dull, passenger-pleasing machine. It's got that driving thrill that keeps you engaged, and that's definitely what a Tesla owner really wants. So after this test drive, it's clear that Tesla made some big changes to the Model Y L's chassis to cater to Chinese buyers. It's got a really comfortable suspension, very mild regenerative braking, and the throttle response is no longer that razor-sharp Tesla feel we all know. But honestly, I don't think this is the right move. See, the relatively simple cabin, the lack of luxury comfort features, and the tighter passenger space just don't stack up against similarly priced Chinese 3-row SUVs. And by softening the chassis and dialing out the sporty handling, Tesla risks disappointing its core audience, the ones who actually bought Teslas for the driving dynamics. Even though this chassis is tuned for comfort, compared to Chinese EVs running dual-chamber air suspension, it still falls short. The long wheelbase Model Y is only about $3,700 more than the 5-seat version, so Tesla is trying to stay price competitive without cutting into their margins, but that means you don't get the things that really matter day to day. No 800-volt high-voltage architecture, no 5C fast-charging battery, no air suspension. And those are features you really feel in daily use. From what I heard talking to sales, most of the buyers so far are existing Tesla owners trading in their old cars. Once that pool dries up, then we'll see the real sales numbers. Give it 2 to 3 months, around January next year, and we'll know if the Chinese market truly accepts the Model Y L. If not, I think Tesla might just start exporting this extended version overseas. So maybe soon, European and American buyers could get their hands on it too. And before I sign off, a little teaser, I'm working on a comparison between the Model Y L and the Li Auto i8. If that's something you're into, make sure to follow the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.